He's here to talk to us, not just about St. Patrick's Day, because of course that's going to be high in your itinerary as well.
I will tell you something, Kevin. I've been to Dublin. We had a daughter who went to medical school there, and the only two places I've ever come back from business trips, tired, really tired, were Dublin and St. John's, Newfoundland. And there's a bit of a connection there to the Irish, but it's the Irish. I mean, the partying. It's just a modest. I figured the jacket would clash with your set here. So I just wear the pin today.
You've got some green on, a little bit of green. Yeah. But Austin, Texas, off you head to Austin now.
Yeah.
And so there's the usual questions being raised. Why should the mayor of Toronto be going on a trip? Is it costing us anything? What do we get out of it?
Well, first of all, the cost is my plane ticket. I guess there's 2 other councillors going, and so on. But if you look at, if we can double, say, the size of our music festivals here and contribute to the economy, the tens of millions of dollars that will contribute, if we can kind of understand better that connection between technology jobs. Austin is quite a technology center. Dell is there, Google has a big installation there, IBM. Then the cost of these plane tickets will be the best investment we ever made at selling Toronto. We got to go down there and sell Toronto. We got to go all over the place and sell Toronto. I'm not going to go all over the place personally, but the notion that we shouldn't go and sell our city is we're not going to get jobs are not going to come here on their own. They're going to come because we go and say, look, we have the greatest place in the world to live and do business, and we want you to come here and create jobs. So that's what we're going off to do.
I want to change gears right now as well, because there was some talk yesterday about Toronto being very messy with this particular spring thaw, that there seems to be a lot more trash than usual, a few more cigarette butts.
I made a point of saying that I don't think it was more than usual, in the sense that I think every March we sort of wake up to the snow melting and look at all the cigarette butts. I don't get why people just throw those down, but that's a different subject. And so I think the city is probably a little dirtier than it was 5 years ago. I think part of the fault is the cities, in that I said in the summer, people probably notice those cans we have and they get overflowing on some nice summer day when people are using them as they should, and that's the city's fault. We should be collecting things more often, and I'll try to see to that. But I think we've got to sort of take our share of the responsibility too. We have a big cleanup day we always have in April, but you know, the city doesn't look its best right now, and it is March, and so we have to be patient about it. But you know, it's our job too, I mean, as people, citizens, to make sure the place looks good.
I mean, you know, I've talked to you about this before. It drives me crazy when everybody looks at government and says they should be doing everything. And I agree with you. If the garbage cans aren't being collected as much, well, yeah, that's the city's problem. But you know, when I see cans on the road and coffee cups and cigarette butts,
those were not thrown there by the city government.
So why don't we pick them up? Why don't we find a garbage can? My truck is full of garbage, because I don't like to throw it on the road. I just wait until maybe one day when it overflows, I find a garbage can, but I don't throw it out on the road. So we've got to take responsibility.
Too, but we do. I mean, it is our responsibility. And you know, I wouldn't dream of throwing, just like you said you wouldn't, of throwing something out the window. Like, I see it happen once in a while, and I want to go after the guys personally and kind of chase them down. But we've got to take some responsibility. The city has to do a little better, and you know, we'll try to do that. But people have to start with themselves, look themselves in the mirror, and make sure we have a clean city. You know, when Frank mentions all the tourists coming with the low dollar and so on, we'll be on display. The Pan Am Games will be on display this year, and we want people to see not only a dynamic, cool, hip city, but we want them to see a clean city, because that's what Toronto's all about.
In a few minutes, we're going to have the new torch.
Yeah, I was there with it yesterday. Yes. So it's very cool, and we've got a whole bunch of torchbearers. It's going to be happening in 11 weeks. The torch run through really all of Southern Ontario, and it's just building excitement. And I hope people go out and buy tickets for the Pan Am Games. They're selling lots, but they need to sell more, and we want this to be a huge success for the city.
Okay, one quick test for you before you go. You ready? The stars at night are big and bright.
I have no idea. What is it?
Okay.
The heart of Texas.
Yes,
deep in the heart of Texas.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, sorry. Well, okay, it took me a minute. I'm a little slow on the uptake at this time of the morning.
It's like they check your passport and they make you sing that song when you get into Texas.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that. Deep in the heart of Texas.
There you go.
That's right. Okay.
All right. Here's the March break forecast with Frank.